What's up, guys? Coach Madden, YouGoProBaseball.com. I'm here with Chris Richards, and we're here in Temecula, California. Former Major League hitter, and he's got some great hitting advice. I want you to share some information. There's going to be some young players here, their parents watching, and I just want to kind of pick your brain about your swing, your approach, and kind of what your thought process was when you're facing some of the best pitchers in the game. So first tell us a little bit about yourself, and then take us through your routine as you came up.
Yeah, sure. My name's Chris Richard. I grew up in San Diego and played some college ball at Oklahoma State and got drafted by St. Louis, then played 15 years in professional ball and had a few years in the major leagues. Most of my years were in the major leagues. So long road, and I wasn't the most gifted naturally. I had to really work hard and improve my swing and kind of build it, and it got to a point where it was at a professional level and had a good, pretty good career. Not too bad. But,
a great career, great career.
Oh,
I'm very envious. And we were talking before about like goal setting, and one of my big goals was to get drafted, and I did that, and I kind of lost the passion after that to make. Obviously, I wanted to make it to the major leagues, but
Sure.
I didn't. You were talking kind of about how that worked for you. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, from a young age, from 12, I always wanted to be in the big leagues, make it to the major leagues, and I really thought I could do it, but at college is when you kind of get an idea of maybe I can really actually do this. But up to that point, keeping that goal in mind and making sure you're going to a high point. And I was talking with Fernando Cortez earlier about how we both made it to the big leagues, and it kind of leveled off a little bit for both of us, where we didn't really get that extra goal of like being an all-star or going further than that. So whether your goal is to make the high school team or to make a college D1, get a scholarship, whatever it is, make sure you reassess yourself and go for even bigger things. Don't get complacent. But I always wanted to play ball, and it was my dream to do that. And just my whole life in high school and in college was focused on being the best player I could be and trying to be a sponge and soak up as much information as I possibly could, and learning from the best. Be careful who you learn from. Try to pick the guys that have actually made it.
Especially now with the internet. And I teach a lot of hitting on here. Maybe I shouldn't, but
Yeah.
that's why I like to bring guys like you in here
Sure.
to talk more about it. I want to help as much as I can and give as much as I can back. But when I have guys like you guys come on and give this information,
Sure.
it's just I think it's great for everyone. They're learning something. They're learning from great guys. And as far as this goes, just use it. That's all we can ask from you is take the good information and use it and try to achieve your goals, setting that goal where you're trying to be, always reevaluating, and then trying to make it to that next step. Talk about your routine growing up. So say from 12 on, what were you doing working on your swing? Like, how did you work on your swing?
Yeah, we would play other sports. Today we're kind of locked into sports at a certain age. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. I think you should try to play as many sports as you can if you love playing those sports and keep it going, because I played soccer and baseball in high school, and a lot of soccer helped with my footwork, peripheral, just work ethic with cardio. I mean, just pushing yourself to limits in that regard. But it can translate and help out your other sport, and plus you don't get burned out. And but I would, at home, I'd hit as much as I could with my friends. We'd play in the cul-de-sac. I was fortunate enough to have an aerospace engineer in the family, my dad, who ended up making me a pitch machine that could pitch little wiffle golf balls so I could hit in my backyard. But I loved to hit, and I would hit for 3 hours a day if I could. I'd hit in the house. My parents were letting me hit in the dining room, hitting things off the wall, and I broke one little pane of glass one time, but that was it. But I would hit, and I loved it. It was what I wanted to do, and I didn't have a backup plan. I wish I would have probably gotten my degree, in college, and maybe that's one, things you got to think about if you're going to be at a pro level. But I didn't have a backup plan. My goal was to do that, so nothing was going to get in my way, and I was going to try to do whatever I could to make it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now let's fast forward. You made it. Now you're facing some of the best pitchers in the game.
Sure.
What was your approach from the dugout to in the hole, on deck, to the batter's box?
Yeah, sure. Well, anytime I went to a field I wasn't sure of, or it was a new field to me, I'd actually walk out to the on decks or the batter's box before the game and stand there and kind of look at the background and see what I could visualize, because the visualization, if you can visualize yourself doing something already and have that backdrop and do it, when you get there, it's like you've already been there and you're super comfortable. So the visualization helps with comfort, relaxation, your focus. You remember, the only thing you're in control of is you, what can you control? All right, you can control, getting a good pitch to hit, being relaxed, being confident. I try to, do my best to hit the ball hard after that. If it gets caught, it gets caught. But just knowing what I was good at, trying to know what the pitchers were good at. If I could watch, if I didn't know who they were, watch what they're doing before the game. What pitches are they throwing? What's the catcher doing? And from the side, it's hard to tell if he's actually hitting his spot. So if the catcher's setting up in a spot and he's hitting his spots, then you kind of know maybe he's got some good control. If you're not the leadoff hitter, watch what he's doing to those hitters. Watch the catcher. Watch how is he hitting his spots. That helps you what you're going to do. If he's all over the place, then you're just locking in fastball down the middle. I'm going to get something I can do some damage with. The guy's painting the corners. You got to maybe look outside corner, look to drive the ball the other way. It's your at bat. You got to take ownership of it. And for me, as long as I had an approach that I stuck to it, and I felt like I took ownership of that at bat, I was relaxed, I was confident, I did my best, and whatever happens, happens, as long as I stuck to my approach. You get into trouble if you get out of your approach. Looking fastball away and you end up trying to hit a fastball that's 2 inches off the inside corner of the plate. That wasn't my approach, and you end up getting jammed and hitting a little dribbler back to the pitcher. You're running down the first baseline just upset, and that's when you get mentally out of it, and then you start slumping and not having fun, So if you can stick to your approach and be aware of what's going on with the pitcher and look for your pitch, get a good pitch to hit, do some damage until you get to 2 strikes, and then you battle. Try to keep it simple. Like for me, when I got in the batter's box, I just wanted to feel comfortable. Like when I put my back foot in here, like I want to feel like I'm connected to the ground, just here, and then I'm out here. My energy is now out here with the pitcher. I don't want to be in my own head thinking about mechanics. It's hard. Your brain is obviously always thinking, but if you're going to think about anything, maybe think one thing about your hands, getting your hands in the right spot, since they're the things that are going to be swinging the bat and making contact with the ball. But for the most part, if you can get comfortable, get in a good rhythm and relaxation and good breath, and get your focus and your attention out with the pitcher and start focusing on him, and then as he's coming towards you and his arm is coming towards you, to try to find that release point. That was it. That would get you into rhythm. You got to dance with the pitcher. The pitcher starts coming towards you. You start to get your energy together, and you get going with that.
What about when you are in a slump or you're not hitting as well as you would like to? How do you get out of that? Like, what's your routine?
Yeah, when you're in a slump, most of the time it's not your swing. It's probably never your swing. A lot of people think it's their swing when they're in a slump. It's really probably how you're seeing the ball and what pitches you're swinging at. So again, you go back to really getting comfortable. First of all, starting with an inner confidence, like I know I can hit. I just got to see the ball. For whatever reason, I have this ability. God gave me an ability to make contact with the ball. You have to have that inner belief, inner confidence. If you don't have that, then you're done. So inside of you, you have to have that self-confidence to know I can put the bat on the ball. I just got to get a good pitch to hit. And then you just kind of lock into a certain zone. I'm looking at one ball in one spot. Usually, if you want to cut, middle away, middle in, or just the heart of the plate, depending on your competition. For most of you guys, just go to heart of the plate. Remember, the first 2 are yours. But if you look for a pitch in one spot, okay, you'll probably expand it to like maybe a 6 inches in diameter circle. Okay, you look for a ball in one spot, you're naturally going to expand it to this spot. Okay, now you're locked into a certain zone, and you just get that. Like you're talking about that earlier about hunting for a pitch. So you got to get your pitch to hit. You got to be ready. And a lot of times too is when you're in a slump, I always felt like I was seeing the ball late. I was getting started late. So get ready early and slow. You want your rhythm to be slow, but get ready early. Make sure you get that front foot down in time where you can get your legs and your butt underneath you and you can really drive the ball. A lot of times when we're late, we're trying to see the ball in the pitcher's hand and make sure we're getting a good pitch, and then by that time we're lunging and we're trying to do everything at once, and your swing feels like an earthquake is going on in your swing. You're not fluid, you're not smooth, and you're rushed, and things are jumping around, and when you're jumping around, your eyes are moving. So for me, slumping was, I was late getting ready, I wasn't seeing the ball good, and that translated into me swinging at bad pitches. And it's not your swing, it's probably, like I said, not seeing the ball good, which messes your timing up, messes your rhythm up as a hitter. And to get back on track, zone in on one spot, get ready early and slow, try to get your timing in the on-deck circle. You can do that pretty easily if you're really good at it. You can really get in rhythm with the pitcher in the on-deck circle if you practice that. And just know you don't have to hit the ball hard to get a hit. Sometimes you just get jammed and hit one the other way. It flails over the shortstop's head if you're left-handed, or second baseman's head if you're right-handed, and you get a hit, and then everything relaxes, and you get up there the next time, and you hit a bullet, and you're like, this is so much easier if I just had fun and relaxed. So know that your goal is not to get a hit. Your goal is to really just get a good pitch to hit it hard, and whatever happens, happens, because we all get line drives caught, and that's a quality at bat. You're not looking for hits necessarily, but quality at bats, and over time the percentages will be with you. So don't get caught up in averages. Get caught up in, did I hit the ball hard? I've had 0 for 4 games. Looks bad on a stat sheet, but I go home feeling pretty good when I've lined out 3 times, and 3 out of the 4 times I hit the ball hard. Can't do anything about it.
That's a great point. I remember watching an interview of a major league player, and the girl interviewing him was like, when are you going to break out? It was in the playoffs. When are you going to break out of your slump? You're 0 for 8 or whatever it is. And he's looking at her like she's crazy. He's like, "Are you been watching the same games that I've been smoking the ball?"
Right.
It's just been hitting at guys.
Right.
So that's a great way to approach the game.
Yeah.
You can't be happy with a 26 hopper through the 6 hole,
right,
and then be mad when you smoke one to the center fielder.
Exactly.
Get your mind right the way you approach the game.
Right, and to go to that, not up, not too up, not too down, right? Like you should try to be even keel, maybe a little bit. There's a swag we talk about. Like if this was way high and this was way low, and there's even keel, maybe just above even keel with a little swag, a little confidence and stuff. Even when you're not feeling it, act like you're confident, because the feelings will come, and the outward confidence that you show, puts fear into pitchers. If you look like you know what you're doing, don't give the pitcher an edge by looking like you've already been beat before you get in the batter's box. So that's it's important to act like you have confidence, and the more you act like you have confidence, believe it, it's amazing that the feelings of that confidence will come. Just stick with it, and again, keep it simple. Try to get out of your head with mechanics. Mechanics are done. The mechanics were in the cage. Mechanics were with your hitting coach. The mechanics were done in the off season. Mechanics were done last week. Right now, all you have is getting comfortable in the box, trusting it, get a good pitch to hit it hard.
With everything that you know now,
yeah,
what would you tell 12-year-old Chris?
Oh man, save your money. Save your money. Yeah, it's all right. It's a journey. Probably, for me, like learning how to use the lower half of your body correctly. To me, like the foundation of your swing is in your legs and your feet and being connected to the ground. I mean, if you can imagine trying to hit with roller skates on, how hard that would be. So there's definitely all your energy comes from the ground up, right? There's this chi of energy that you can get from the ground up, and understanding how to use that, and probably like dance more, like learn how to salsa dance, because you got hip. I mean, just certain basic things like that. You'd be surprised how that translates into a hitting swing, and knowing how your body works, right? I didn't really know how to hit until I was in college and 20 years old, 21 years old. I mean, I had good hand-eye coordination, and I could hit, and I practiced so much off the machine that if I got a fastball, I was going to hit it if it was in my zone. But curveball, changeup, I mean, outside fastball on the corner, I mean, those are all things I had to really learn and work on. So from a mechanic standpoint, understanding how your legs and your body work in that regard, and maybe watching hitters that are the best hitters as far as that goes, as average and power is combined. Most of those guys have really good lower half and good balance in their swings. But from an approach standpoint, remember to have fun. I think I was pretty good at that. I mean, I remember in minor league ball, I would keep a picture of myself when I was 12, because to me, the love that you have as a player when you're 10, 11, 12 in those little league years, that is going to carry you over to pro ball, college ball, because you have to have that love in order to play every single day get your butt handed to you when you go an 0 for 10 streak, and you still want to come back and do it again and try to get better. So you have to have that love of the game, and so I did a pretty good job of that. But I don't know, the journey is the journey, right? And you just go with it.
Yeah, that's great. And you had a great journey, man.
Yeah,
It was
thanks, man.
it was a good ride. So thank you very much for sharing some of that of your journey and the experience that you had. I'm sure it's going to benefit a lot of these guys. I appreciate it. You can check Chris out on Hit with Chris on Instagram, across all the other platforms. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, drop them down in the comments below, and we'd be happy to answer some of those for you guys. Thank you to Fernando Cortez for letting us shoot here in the beautiful facility in Temecula, California. And we'll see you guys in the next video.
All right. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.